This is our next candidate for refret. All these refrets are happening this week. So this is a 1967 ES330 of Michael's, and I've done work on it before. I put a compensated nut fret dress and set it up for him back in the spring. And he's back to get a refret. He wants to go with the EVO frets for longevity. It's basically a family heirloom. This guitar is in amazing condition. As you can see, it's pretty well immaculate. There's some little fine lacquer checks here, but hey, for a 1967, you can expect that. What I have here is just a piece of foam that I've put under that, and this prevents any crash marks into the top, so you don't want that bar sort of crashing down into that lacquer. I've taped the bridge to the bridge pickup. As we're flipping the guitar around and moving it around, none of these pieces fall out. Now, these are not plastic. These are bone saddles, which were used. That was vintage spec back then. Just to make sure we don't lose any of those little puppies. Taping that off too. So frets are coming out on this one. One more thing, I want to bring you into the headstock. So this is another note of caution. These press fit cuffs that go into the face of Gibsons from this vintage, they are just press fit, easily lost. I have some leftover foam packaging from the last set of ratio machine heads I installed, and I'm just going to tape that right over top, just so we don't lose any of those small press fit bushings. Now we're ready to pull some frets without worrying about losing all the little bits and pieces. For my Patreon subscribers, you'll find the super detailed 1-hour video on that 1970 Les Paul Custom where we did the refret. And I discuss in detail about how we deal with this binding and the nibs, etc., etc. For all of the TechDeck guys, I want to bring you in on this one to kind of show you how I set up and prepare to work on this vintage guitar without doing any harm. Starting on this end, I have that sort of foam tucked under the tailpiece to prevent the bar from crashing into the top. I have stuffed the F-holes with this mid-density foam, and that prevents any debris, fret filings or otherwise, getting into this guitar, because this is an extra shallow body. This is much thinner than a 335. I just don't want to have to deal with going inside there to fix something. Everything works perfectly fine, and we want to keep it that way. Now, I did have to remove that neck pickup and set it aside so that we can sweep full length of the fingerboard. The actual lay of the neck on this guitar is one of the best I've seen, so it doesn't need any correction, but we do need to brush off those nibs and prepare it for the new frets. Michael is going with the EVO frets in this case. This is a family heirloom. There is no intention ever of selling it. I had done a compensated nut earlier in the year. Of course, with the new frets, I'm going to need to cut a new compensated nut. So I just wanted to bring you in beforehand to let you know how I hold the instrument. Obviously, both the body and the neck are fully supported. There's no excessive force. I don't have to worry about the guitar shifting or wobbling while I work on it. It's held firmly and safely in place. So now we'll get on with the job. Starting with the 180 grit and just very gently brushing those plastic nibs down so they don't disrupt the seating of the fret overhang. Now this guitar does have the perloid or plastic inlay, and there's no way around it. We need to brush over that fingerboard, because what happens is when you pull the fret out, the saw kerf kind of puckers up on either side. So we don't want to do anything to disrupt the seating of the frets, of the new frets. I'm just brushing over that. not altering anything. These are the blocks that I send out in your kits. This is the mid-size block, and that's just about it. So all the frets are cut. We've nipped off that tang for the overhang. We've cut the bevel and polished the frets. They're all in the right order, ready to install. For extra support at the neck junction, I have a 5-pound lead weight lined with leather. There's that space between the rails allows me to hold this up tight against the underside as I tap those first few frets in. So that provides the dead weight against the hammer blade. And these are 9 to 46 strings, slightly different values at that compensated nut. And this was fretted with the EVO fret wire. This is the folks from Jess Carr, New York, New York. Got a bunch of fret jobs on the go lately. There's a final shot of the compensated nut. And these are 9 to 46 strings. And this is acoustically. Okay, let's plug it in. So the way those P90s are wired, in the middle position, the two pickups cancel the hum. They act as a humbucking pickup. And the volume drops when I go to the bridge position. In this middle position and bridge position, neck position, and again both. Now this is everything wide open. And I think I had mentioned in the previous video about utilizing that volume tone setup with the pickup selector in the middle position. In the middle position, as soon as I back off this volume, it goes to the bridge. And if I back off the bridge volume, it goes to the neck. It makes for a very versatile setup. And it was a buddy of mine from many, many years ago that had his Les Paul, and he always left it in the middle position, and that's kind of how he worked it. He was quite an accomplished player. Anyway, just thought I would bring that up again. In the middle position, these two single coil pickups act together as a hum canceling pickup, or as a humbucking pickup. So that's the quietest mode, you know, if you're recording or whatever, is the middle position. And yet you can still access the neck pickup without actually switching to the neck pickup. Anyway, just wanted to point that out. So I have recorded something here. I'm going to let this play. It's kind of like a B-flat thing.
Okay.